Our routine, 2020. Her hands are sandpaper calluses and nails that need to be cut with hedge clippers. She is scooping the coffee grounds like they're the spilled cotton balls under the sink. My mother is what Chicago is to Lake Michigan, present but silent. Do you have to work again tonight, I ask. She says it's the same schedule as last week. I'll see you in the morning.
Hello everyone, my name is Brayjean Fletcher and this is my story, His Closure. I rush to the back door. Anger, disappointment, and heartbreak are all I can feel. Not even realizing it was pouring down, I stump my way over the grass. Rhea, I hear her call out, but I ignore him. Please, baby, wait, he says, and I pick up my pace. Before I realize it, he is behind me, grabbing my arm. Wait, just please let me explain. What is there to explain, Cameron? I yank my arm from him. You think that it is okay that you didn't tell me the truth? That you've been lying to me about yourself from the beginning? It's not that simple. Then make it simple. Because at the beginning of this, you hated me, and I didn't know it was because of the color of my skin. Tell me the truth. I feel my eyes start to water. He looks at me with worry and hesitates for a second before taking a deep breath. Yes, Maria, I am African American. I feel my heart drop. So you're black too, and was treating me like I was the most disgusting thing in the world. The rain was hitting my face even harder now. I begin to walk away and he grabbed my arm while cupping my face with his left hand. Yes, I did, he stutters. Why? I look down while he wipes the tears off my face. Because my father was black too. He had brown skin like you. He cheated on my mom with a black woman who was darker than you. He left my family and started a new one with her. I look up at him. I was depressed and angry, Rhea, so I took it out on him and blamed her. I didn't want to be a part of that side of my family, so I changed myself. I dyed my hair a brownish blonde color and straightened it. I wore blue contacts, and even though I have tan skin, I tried to make myself not look biracial. I hated black people with brown skin and darker. What about your sister? I asked. She's tan like me and my mom, so I didn't technically hate her, but I was mad that she didn't want to hide her appearance with me. I sigh and look down. But I don't feel that way anymore. He tucks my wet hair behind my left ear. You changed me, baby. How did I change you? He bends down so he can look me in my eyes. I blamed the woman my dad cheated on with and thought all darker-toned black people were bad. That if you were brown or a chocolate tone, I thought you guys were all the same as my father and his mistress. But you were different. I realized that I can't judge people based on their skin color, and even though I wanted to deny it, we were so much more alike than I thought. We both like poetry. We like to dance. We're both ready to get out of here and start living life, and we're both black. And in my messed up mind, I thought you'd be pretty if you were lighter. But once I got to know you, it was the inside that mattered. He grins. I didn't plan on falling in love with you. I used to tell myself that I could never love you, and eventually I started thinking you could never love me. That one day you'd find out and hate me for resenting you at the beginning. I would have never thought that, Cameron. I love you too much. I look him in his eyes, seeing that they're filled with tears. I'm sorry, he exclaims. I run my fingers through his wet hair and give him a slight smile. I forgive you. He lays his forehead on mine while pulling me closer by my waist. I love you too, Rhea, and I promise that this is me closing that chapter in my life. He kisses my forehead and I wrap my arms around his neck. Then all I have is Roby Crest. He moves his head slightly to look at me. What? he asks, and I smile. Okay, I hear a voice from in front of me say. I turn my head. He stands in front of the archway, smiling a bright smile as our eyes meet. He took the dye out of his hair, and it is now black and curly. His tan skin is more visible and isn't covered with lighter makeup. I walk closer and lock eyes with him. I smile, seeing his brown but with a touch of blue eyes. He looks down at me and seems a bit nervous. My smile grows, continuing our eye contact. So, what do you think? What do you think? He looks down and I wait for him to speak. It's gonna take a minute to get used to, he chuckles nervously. Honestly, I'm relieved. I don't know if I wanted to go my whole life having to do that. He runs his fingers through his curly hair. So, am I still the famous golden boy Cameron Bates? I purse my lips out and bring my hands around his neck. He places his hands on my lower back and I catch sight of the now visible freckles on his face. You have freckles? I ask, and he grins. And I miss them, he says. Yeah? I smile. Yeah. I look down and back up to his face. His eyes are staring deep into mine. You're you, and you are beautiful. I whisper the last part. He raises his right hand and puts my hair behind my left ear and cups my face. He brings his face closer to mine and kisses me sweetly. We finally pull away and he smirks. I love you, Maria. He pecks my lips. And I love you, Cameron. He brings me into an embrace and I smile to myself. The end. Thank you.
For the blackened reality, may I shed my skin, tar heap on the bathroom floor, desperately wanting more than this body of pulsating, politicless red, white, knotted together to walk, run, breathe, or I can't breathe. June bug, hollowed shell, clinging to my MTV t-shirt. I have not been home in some time. Kettle cook spider home, lime scale stain. I don't leave the lake, I am afraid. Wait for the cover of night. Who am I but gas-lusting flesh? July fireworks cure blackness from the sky, proverbial cleansing fire. 6 cities strike matches, cannot hold a candle to wax figurines, gormless deities that see only thieves in the night, scarred tongue lures. August rain rinses clean my spidered kettle. Spit in the sink, mirror eyes white, amongst my cowardly coat of unoppressed crimson, body of mine too raw to gun down.
Hi, I'm Peter Schreier. I was the third place winner of the fiction thing. I'm here to read my prose piece. My poor feet have traveled a hot, dusty road, which is a Woody Guthrie lyric. I woke up on a moving train with my legs hanging off the side, the soles of my shoes scraped along the tops of the tracks. The conductor was named Zeus. He had lost one of his arms and was very open about the fact that it wasn't taken off in a war or by a shark or any sort of clamorous way. He'd gotten a snake bite on his elbow when he was hiking in Arizona. He tied a jumper cable around the top of his arm to preemptively stop the blood and then cut the rest off with his glasses fogged up and sand in his ears. His blood rang through the red rocks into the crust of the earth. When he finally got real medical attention, the doctor told him it would have been a fairly routine procedure with no need for amputation. Poor guy. When he drank whiskey, he could imagine himself with 2 arms wrapped around a beautiful, fictitious wife. I still have a scar between my shoulder blades from when he kicked me off the train with his steel-toe boot. I still have a second scar on the back of my head from my suitcase which he heaved at my bruised body from off of his moving train. I don't really remember why he got rid of me, but there was probably some vague level of legitimate justification. I still just appreciate that he gave me my suitcase back, even in the haphazard manner he did it. You can't be a man, woman, or anything in between without a suitcase. You're just a vacant human looking for inspiration. All you really need is a suitcase, a nice pair of shoes, and a good, reliable pencil. Those are the 3 most important things. Nothing matters more. Some people might act like they themselves do, but people are often unreliable. Even Jesus could only last 33 years before he left the citizens of Galilee with 1 fish and no more wine. Once you reach deity status, people start looking for coffins your size, making you unreliable. And even then, you gotta use your 3 items correctly. You see a lot of people struggling to carry their suitcases with both hands because it's so full of rocks and leaves from the places they visited. Then it starts raining, which causes them to remove their now water-filled leather shoes, and a barefoot traveler will not get very far. These people do not understand the point of their pencil. Once you write about the contents of your suitcase, you can dump it all out into any ditch or otherwise vacant hole you like. Zeus and I would often sit on the train, pointing and laughing at the blurry figures of forlorn creatures being weighed down by heavy suitcases and wet shoes. I've spent most of my consciousness traveling, surviving on benzodrine tubes and aging adrenaline. I've been to places where the dirt is dry and cracked and the brims of hats flop over people's eyes. And I've been to places where high heels slide across the pavement and the moon can't see through the haze of cigarettes and streetlights. I etched the names of the people I visit into the spine of my suitcase. They all guess what my name is, and they carve that into their suitcases, if they have one. Most don't guess correctly. Some do. I revisit those people until they've forgotten my name. Few people remember my name anymore. I like it that way. It keeps my feet thinking and my brain wandering. As long as my suitcase is in my hand, my pencil is in my pocket, and my shoes are on my feet, my name can do whatever it wants to do. I haven't lost sight of my identity. I'm not a martyr, I'm a rambler, I'm an observer, I'm a shapeshifter. I don't have a beginning and I don't have an ending. I sleep on mossy forest floors between righteous maple trees. I stick my timeless pencil into Tom Dooley's unremorseful eye. At night, I sit by the light of the jukebox and tell stories of faded halos, honoring the folk tradition. I rub my hand on the scar on the back of my head. Although it hasn't been painful for years, the feeling of its bumpy surface still gives my head residual feelings of heavy weightlessness from the corner of my suitcase being thrown into it. It makes me wonder what Zeus is doing now. What is his boot doing? Has he found his beautiful wife? Has he drunk enough to permanently convince himself that he has 2 arms? Does he remember my name? You could assume that he's dead, but you never met Zeus. He would never stop moving. If you put someone as unsatisfied as Zeus in a 6-foot plot of land for his skin to fall off and for ants to eat his organs, you better be aware. Watch out for a one-armed man covered in soil wearing a steel-toed boot that justifiably wants more than anything to kick you off the train. And maybe he won't even be gracious enough to hit you in the head with your suitcase.
The Manila Man. The water rises in the streets between your house and the next. It looks like the typhoon settled with you, Lolo. Children hang from clotheslines like linens. How did you lift their bones? How did you cross the strait? The shouting is unintelligible in downpour and language. Count to 5, tell me hello, ask me if I want more food. It's all the same to me. Is it true you slung them over your shoulders, wading through the genetic floods, catching the children as they fell from the heavens, piling them onto your shoulders like sacks of rice, like sheep? You're the Filipino Jesus Christ, Savior of the world, that little boy atop the heap, my faceless, foreign father.
Bracken. In my grandfather's kitchen is a mannequin he bought and dressed in a second-hand tea. He leaves it on the cabin beds and behind shower curtains to scare the wrinkles from everyone's faces, but when I first saw her, I unclenched my fat little fist and wailed a shapeless greeting to her. The water is still some days, and the sky goes deep down within it. Clouds hunt minnows in the murk. I lay on the furry back of one of them, shirt soaked, and open my mouth for God to feed me little chunks of the sun. My tongue is pink because it is burned from glistening oil and fish. I give the mannequin an old dress, sequined, scaled. The new dock leaves splinters in my feet and in my pocketbook, but the latter's already wounded. I give my wife kisses and a wide-brimmed hat. I give my new sons swimming lessons. I have been told that I talk very loudly these days, but the lake doesn't mind. My sons are loud too, and the mannequin is not, for obvious plastic reasons. Everything is louder when the mannequin is cleverly vanished, and when she is found, everyone barks with laughter like a happy pack of feral animals, and Christ, did you know how in love I am with expanse? Medical professionals are of the opinion that my hearing is going. One of my boys is quiet these days, save for when he can't help but yell. We are used to it. He is not. His wife vanished last year in a smokescreen of divorce papers, which was really understandable despite how empty our July dinners feel now. Knowing not how to be a visibly wounded animal, I trap a smaller and more savage creature in my chest to gnaw at my rib cage. My son has the entirety of the local zoo in his own chest. Things are all right at the cabin. My fingers are starry with hot oil burns, and I feed my feral animals with fish once more. Haven't seen the clouds go for a swim in decades, but hey, that's progress for you. That's stern drive engines for you. My wife and my sons play Scrabble with strangers and to hand each other bread over the K's and W's. The mannequin's behind my closet door, and I wail, happy, but cannot hear any familiar yips and yelps in return. Dying in one's sleep is surprisingly rare. We as a species have to quit expecting it. There is something sharp in the eyes of a walking, talking zoo, and my wife's body is unconscious on the tile floor besides decades of frying flour worked into the grout. When my son kills me, he does not realize it is me. When my son kills me, he calls 911 himself and tells them not to worry, that the threat has been neutralized, that everything is okay. Medical professionals are of the opinion that if the wounds hadn't gotten me, the adrenaline shock would have. 2 weeks ago, I was walking my sickly cat around the ragged outskirts of a park in my son's old stroller. The mannequin is dressed in sun gold sequins, tucked into my dear son's bed. She gives the cops one hell of a surprise when they pointlessly search the house later and harass the frightened neighbors and forcibly capture someone I love. Girlhood Sonnet. Physical memory of the fairy wings, worn elastic, wearing thinned threads to sheen and breaking, glitter going ballistic on sweaters, everything pink. The picture hit her funny later on in life, a little happy thing, too enthusiastic and forever overflowing with presents, all pigtails and shiny. Zeus and Hades and all the rest, just tails with more swill. Puffy purple jacket and filthy nails, and I think he was hitting on you, Mommy. No, honey, he was hitting on you. Assume he didn't really know you didn't really have breasts yet. Assume he is younger than he looks. Go home and eat Twizzlers in your outer space room. Open up the book of Greek myths and draw snow spiked over Kore's springtime. Man blames mom, fearmonger, and the book remains apologetic, defaced.
Hi, my name is Lillian Frendel, and today I'll be reading the story I wrote, The Little Lighthouse. Sold to the gentleman over there, announced the exuberant auctioneer, glad to finally be rid of the lighthouse. Under different conditions, he might have considered keeping the lighthouse to himself, but that was out of the question here. The lighthouse stood in a notoriously superstitious town. Most of the stories spread had to do with ghosts or strange sightings. The new owner of the lighthouse, Henry, was not from the town and was just looking for a change. However, no one had the courage to tell him the stories around his new home. After arriving at the lighthouse, Henry allowed his gaze to move upward. It was a beautiful tower of alternating red and white stripes. When his eyes met the light at the top, he could have sworn he saw a face, faint but nevertheless there. He felt a chill go through his bones and rise through him till every hair stood on end. Speedily, Henry tried the door. Unlocked. He pushed it open to reveal a room about the size of an average living room. There were all the necessities to live, packed in such a minimal space. Henry instantly began thinking of projects and things he could do, and dropped his belongings by the foot of the bed, not caring to put them away. A few days passed, and Henry was slipping to a routine consisting of tending to the light, completing various domestic duties, and fixing things as they came up. One day, as Henry was preparing some food for himself, there was a sharp knock on the door. He allowed a moment to pass before the knocking repeated. Somewhat shakily, he made his way to the door. He opened it to a rough-looking man who towered over Henry's smaller figure. "I'm Herman," grunted the man, squeezing through the door without asking. "Henry," responded Henry. Neither reached out to shake hands. The rest of the evening consisted of light conversation between the two men. Herman finally excused himself and left for the evening. Weeks went on like this, except sometimes Herman brought a fish or a newspaper. Henry should have been concerned by the stranger's appearance, but instead was thankful for the human interaction. Months passed without issue before Henry began to notice a lingering chill in the air, alerting him of the need to winterize the lighthouse. He was working outside when he noticed a small girl in a dirty lavender dress wandering around the lighthouse. He called over to her to make sure she wasn't lost. "No, I'm not lost," replied the girl. She shuffled her feet together hesitantly before opening her mouth again. "But there is one thing." Henry was listening in earnest now, forgetting his work. The little girl didn't seem to want it to continue, so Henry gave her a small smile of encouragement. Her mouth stayed pressed in a straight line. "My friends told me the old man in the lighthouse is scary. They said the lighthouse is haunted. Sometimes you see things." Henry stopped listening when she mentioned ghosts. An uncertain amount of time passed before Henry realized the reason he was able to obtain the lighthouse so easily. He now knew countless stories and old wives' tales about not only the lighthouse, but the bay, the boats, and the people. He first thought when the little girl left us, how come Herman hadn't told me any of these stories? Henry seriously thought that they were friends at this point. In his mind, he promised himself he would bring it up the next time Herman came over. Sure enough, that same evening, Herman came over. After a gap in conversation, Henry decided to bring up ghost stories. "How come you never told me my own house was haunted?" Henry asked, and then chuckled to lighten the mood. Herman took a long sip of his drink before replying, "No such thing as ghosts." Just like that, Henry was shut down and knew better than to bring up the topic again. The rest of the night passed uncomfortably. Henry was glad in a way when Herman left. The rest of the night he could hardly sleep because in the back of his mind he was beginning to believe there were ghosts. Giving up on sleep, he decided to work on the loose step he had noticed the day before. He grabbed some random wrenches and screwdrivers, unsure which one would do the job. He lugged them halfway up the staircase before he realized he forgot which step it was. The thought entered his mind just a second too late. It could have been hours, minutes, days that Henry laid on the cement floor, in a puddle of his own blood. He'd fallen through the staircase and rolled to the bottom. Henry got up. He went to the sink and washed the blood off his face and hands. He then checked the mirror. There was no wound, nowhere for the blood to have come out. I should be dead. I shouldn't be checking myself out in the mirror. I should be dead. Henry didn't know what to do. It's not like this thing kind of happened every day. He mopped up the blood beginning to dry, and then cautiously made his way up the staircase, testing each step before moving up, his mind blank. Soon came Herman's comforting knock. Before Henry made his way downstairs, he heard the door open and close. He walked into the dimly lit living quarters to see Herman sitting by the table, a small gleam in his eyes. "So you want to know about ghosts?" Herman asked, as if they had already been talking for hours. Hours must have gone by where Herman gave detailed accounts of ghost stories. Henry already knew, and then some. Henry was stunned into silence. There was a short pause before Herman slapped a newspaper on the table, whose headline read, "Lighthouse claims yet another life." "Thank you."
Child with Toy Hand Grenade in Central Park, NYC, 1962. After the photograph by Diane Arbus. The day my father moved out of our apartment, I was watching one of those old war movies with the volume up too loud. My brothers were shoving each other off of the couch, playing King of the Mountain and laughing when the enemy got his brains blasted out. After my parents first started fighting, we got toy swords. When my father started sleeping on the couch, we got toy guns. The afternoon, we got toy grenades. My father had just finished teaching us to hit a backhand the way he used to in the good old days when he told us about the divorce. My older brother thought that he was joking, ignoring the look on our father's face as he tried to bash me over the head with a tennis racket. My younger brother giggled and said, "That's a funny word." My father left us in the park, yelling over his shoulder, "Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect." I just stood there, exploding.